Well, hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of This Week in Karting. It is episode number 55, December the 15th, 2022. My name is Rob Howden, joined as always by David Cole. Those of you who may be new to this podcast, it's really where we bring all the news that has worked its way, of course, onto the EKN homepage over the last week, and obviously dialed in perfectly for your commute to work, whatever it may be. Great opportunity to kind of get yourself up to speed on everything that's happening in the sport. Today's edition of This Week in Karting is brought to you by RaceLab. The new face of competitive karting in the Pacific Northwest region is RaceLab. The full-service karting operation is located at the state-of-the-art Kartplex facility in Oliver, British Columbia, Canada, providing everything you need to hit the track or put yourself in a successful driver development program. RaceLab is the official North American distributor for the TB Kart chassis brand, providing a full range of models from kid kart to shifter kart. Villeneuve Racing Karts is their flagship product, available only through RaceLab. The brand carries the name of Formula One champion and Indianapolis 500 winner Jacques Villeneuve, with each model produced by TB Kart. Follow RaceLab on social media on Facebook and Instagram, or load up their website at www.theracelab.ca to learn more about TB Kart and Villeneuve Racing Karts. RaceLab. Race with us, win with us. All right, David Cole, we are halfway through the final month of 2022. We're trying to make these shows a weekly show, even if there's not a ton to bring to the table. And so the more weekly, the more regular consistency, everybody will be able to kind of get into a roll. We do have a bunch of news here for you, but it's last show was last week. So we got stuff to talk about.
We have items to talk about. Not a lot of news that came through, but it's December. Kind of everybody's taking the month to kind of recharge and reset for the 2023 season.
That's it. Hey, voices sounded good, by the way.
I don't know what's going on, man.
I love it.
It's my Barry White voice.
That's it. I love it. All right, let's kick things off. Some of the news that we saw that was interesting coming up, that the Elkhart Grand Prix, the Riverwalk Grand Prix, the Thor Industries Elkhart Riverwalk Grand Prix, setting its date for 2023. David, a bit of a move actually into the final week of July 28th and 29th, that USAC karting event.
Yeah, they just can't seem to get away from the SuperKarts USA Summer Nationals.
Yeah, right.
They followed it into the month of July, but they had reasons for it. Ironically, the state of Indiana begins school in August. So when Summer Nats was over, school started that Monday. So that's one of the reasons why they're moving this event away from that weekend, is because they want kids to enjoy it. They want to incorporate kids viewing, because this is a spectator event, no different than what we've seen at the Quincy Grand Prix and other events similar to this. So the move to July helps with that summertime vibe. It's a Friday night, Saturday night situation where they have free concerts, celebrity races, fireworks, and a lot more. So it's an event. It's not just another kart race. It's an actual event that Elkhart, the city of Elkhart, Indiana, hosts and brings on USAC karting, and they get a lot of good partners, including Thor Industries and so it's more than just a karting event. So it's on the Summer Nationals weekend, but really this is more for grassroots racers. Again,
Indeed.
The categories are focused on Briggs 206. You got junior and senior competition. You got Margay Ignite. You also got the FK 100, which is kind of the combination of Yamaha and other 100cc engines with our VLR or the KA 100.
Yep.
And they also have Yamaha classes. So again, it's more grassroots racers than what you'll see at the Summer Nationals. It does stop from people like us wanting to go and kind of get nostalgic and go back to Elkhart. I never went in the old days.
I didn't either.
But it was always a place to go and check out. But yeah, so it makes sense to move to the summertime.
Yeah, and listen, this is a fantastic event. Obviously, it's been going into its fifth year right now, so they've got things kind of dialed in. A really cool layout, driving over top of the river with the bridge. So if you were a driver that maybe you always like to go to the Quincy Grand Prix, that event, of course, sadly, has now been canceled. Terry Trade are not going to be moving forward with the Quincy Grand Prix. So if you're a guy that liked to run some kind of a cool event, a street circuit, this will be the one. Of course, Elkhart, Indiana, kind of the RV capital of the U.S. Thor Industries stepping up to sponsor this event. So again, as David had said, July 28th, 29th, a Friday, Saturday night event. It's going to be a ton of fun. You and I would love to get there. You know, we run the Margays, we run the 206 class, so I would love to get a chance to be able to go there one year. Hopefully it won't be conflicted with the SCUSA Summer Nats some year, that we can actually put it on our schedule. But again, for those of you looking for that event, and again, those categories, that kind of Yamaha 100cc, Margay Ignite, and Briggs 206 program, look at that last weekend in July. David, more stuff happening, of course, as well. A brand new series being established for 2023 up in the Northeast.
Yeah, it's a cool little situation going on. No different than what we saw with the United States Pro Kart Series with industry members getting together. It's kind of the same thing with the new Northeast Karting Alliance. It's going to include Mike Doty Racing, Full Tilt Racing, Fullcomb Competition, Solo Car USA, Team Ferris Racing, along with Kartworks. So they've kind of formed a coalition to get together and put together a racing series for the Northeast. It's going to be called the Northeast Karting Challenge. They've already got series sponsorship from Miami USA and MG Tires. So you kind of have a direction of which tires and which engines are going to be incorporated into this program. And they got initial dates to go moving forward. And the basis of it is going to be at the New Jersey Motorsports Park, a interesting facility where they can run a lot of different configurations. So they have 4 different dates there, beginning in March, with March 25th through the 26th. They go to April 22nd through the 23rd, September 9th through the 10th, and November 4th through the 5th. But they're also going to include Englishtown, so Old Bridge Raceway Park in New Jersey. They'll have actually 5 races there, and they'll do a winter warm-up, 2 spring races, and 2 fall dates. And then they'll go to Oakland Valley Raceway Park for 2 summer night races. So those dates will be determined later, but a lot of racing in the Northeast with this program, and really kind of, very similar to what we see across the country with regional events, have 1 race a month. Yeah. I mean, that's essentially what they're doing. They're trying to keep it off national schedules, of course. So that's why I think you kind of have the to be determined dates, making sure, they keep it away from national events, and so the regional racers can do both along with national racers. And then again, it's just a way to kind of keep, again, these race teams and these kart shops, they make money off racing events. They need events to go to. And I think Englishtown still has a club. we know OVRP has a club, so they still have that, but you still got to have that step. That regional step. And
regional racing is important, David. We talk about it all the time. Regional racing is so important because not every club guy is going to go to a USPKS event, a Superkarts USA event, whatever it may be, a Stars Championship event, right? It's a better opportunity for these guys to stay in their region. They don't have to travel as far. Regional racing, we've said this before, it's that middle of the pyramid. It's so crucial to give the guys that run and girls that run club racing an opportunity to challenge the best in their region.
Yeah, and I kind of correlate this to like a Route 66 program. Miami, USA based, MG Tires. So very similar to that. A lot more racing. Route 66, they've kind of reduced it down to 4, which is, I think, good for that region. Again, Midwest, there's so much racing going on right now, and there's a lot of races. Where the Northeast, there's not a lot of programs like this. So it's a good little cooperation between a lot of the race teams and kart shops that are within the region. So we'll see how this progresses, and hopefully we'll get more information regarding a complete schedule and obviously class roster as well.
Let's cap this first segment of This Week in Karting, this particular episode, December 15th, episode 55. Obviously, one of the big events, the big event really that kind of kicks off the season between Christmas and New Year's, is WKA Daytona Kart Week. Of course, they run on the sprint circuit. They run on the road race circuit. And just outside Daytona International Speedway, there's a dirt track as well. David, I saw that WK post up on Facebook that record number, near hitting record numbers for the dirt championships. This feels to me like a new record, maybe, because if I'm not mistaken, weren't they they used to be in the 2,000 entries. They're saying they're near 1,000 pre-entries right now. Maybe it's pre-entries, but there used to be 2,000 entries, if I'm not mistaken.
This is, I think, at the Daytona dirt track. There you go. I mean, obviously, the Municipal Stadium they used to race at about a couple miles down the road. Yes, that was massive. Yeah. That used to be massive.
I raced there in 2002. I think it was fun. I
was going to say, can you remember the year?
I think it was pretty sure it was 2002.
20 years ago.
20 years ago, in a senior champ and Tecumseh champ, star champ. Tecumseh. On a Phantom big buggy with Todd Miller Racing, and Jody Miller was awesome.
I'll save it for after at the end of the
Yeah.
conversation. Let's get into the kind of the news about it
Yeah,
first, and
so
then we'll
near
talk.
near 1,000 pre-entries for the dirt show there, the highest ever at Daytona International Speedway. 18 classes on day 1, 17 classes on day 2, and 14 classes on day 3. And I know a lot of the people that are there for the sprint road race kind of slip out. David, when you've gone down to cover it, you've always been busy inside the track during the week, but you kind of always slip outside to see a little bit of the dirt stuff in the evening.
Yeah, typically it's day 1 that we get to go and see because that's
Yeah.
practice day at the sprint and road racing programs. And ironically, this year they're having 3 days of racing. They typically have never done that for the dirt program. But because they're bringing in a number of different programs and series to kind of encompass the Daytona Dirt Championships, they've actually gone to 3 days of racing. So this is something new that they haven't done since I recall being at the Daytona Dirt Track. That they'll have 3 days of racing because typically they have that last day reserved for rain day, and so that'll be interesting to see. So I think that's helped the entry numbers get so large. Because of that third day. Again, when you're talking
Makes sense.
18 classes, 17 classes, and 14 classes per day,
Yeah,
that's a lot of entries. So
pretty big lineup.
yeah, excited to see that. And then, yeah, again, they have the unlimiteds running, I think, in day 1 and day 2. So that's always a fan favorite.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The sprint event, of course, happening inside the Daytona International Speedway between turns 3 and 4. Over 300 pre-entries for the race. The event actually December the 28th, 29th, and 30th. 4 rounds of practice on the 28th. Day 1, of course, the 29th, and day 2 on the 30th. People can then either stay in Daytona for New Year's Eve or bolt home. Of course, practice, qualifying, pre-final, and final, the race day lineup. So here's your schedule or your class lineup for the sprint side. It is WK will have their 206 Masters class, KA 100 Senior, 206 Cadet, 206 Junior, Ignite Masters. They have a 360 206 class. What else we got, David? We got Ignite Senior, KA 100 Junior, Micro Swift, and a 380-pound 206 class as well. So a good little lineup of both cadet racing, junior, senior, Briggs 206 and 100cc as well.
Yeah, and the cadet is actually 2 categories. So they have a cadet advanced and a cadet. It's something new. So very similar to what we've seen in WKA announced this a while ago. So it's very similar to what we've seen with Cup Karts North America, where they split up their sportsman division. It's a little bit kind of like this. I don't think it's age based. I think it's more of experience based, and ones are going to be a little bit quicker. So I can't remember the exact details of the difference between the advanced and the regular cadet category, but yeah, 2 different cadet categories for 206 racing.
So a road race, obviously a huge event every year at the Daytona International Speedway on the big track. Over 600, nearly 600 pre-entries coming in here. Still a couple of weeks away from getting things going there. Same days on the racetrack at the 28th, 29th, and 30th. Practice happening on the 28th, 2 days of racing on the 29th and 30th. Dave, 8 race groups each day, and within each of those race groups for road racing, they'll break that down into different categories.
Yeah, a lot of wide range of categories available at the road racing program. Again, everything from, I think, cadets, so including the minis and micros and even Briggs competitors, all the way up to the supercarts that'll be getting close to 160 miles an hour around the high banks of Daytona. And yeah, so it's an interesting event. Again, 8 race groups, so they kind of group all the different categories into 8 different races each day based on speed and obviously the type of karts. You want the slower karts kind of together, lay down karts a little bit together, and of course sprint karts together. So again, I think the Briggs is actually one of the bigger categories. I think Briggs, tag, and shifters are leading the way, and then lay down wise, I think the Yamaha category is still showing strong with probably close to 30 entries there.
That's awesome. I love to see that, man. That's great. Obviously, one of the big things that happens throughout the event down at Kart Week is the Margay Ignite Dash at Daytona. The Ignite program, as we know, has just grown and grown and grown all over the country. A big event, one of their majors, is of course running this Dash at Daytona. You run both the sprint track and the road race track. It's something I really would like to do soon, next couple of years. I think I want to maybe go down and try that. They have the senior and the masters class both days at the sprint track and the road course, I think, David, right? But they also have junior on the road course as well. Is that the road race as well? Is that
correct? Yeah, senior and
okay.
masters both days at the sprint track, and then they have both days for all three age groups on the road racing side of things.
Nice.
So pick your day. I don't think they have specific days that they because in a couple of years past, Margay did sprint race one day and then road race the next day. I think it's kind of just open, where competitors want to go and compete. And again, you could still do both in the same day if you need to, or if you want to. I think the road race one, I think they're the first race each day. So that kind of helps get that road race out of the way and then go back to the sprint track and focus on your action there. But, Rob, this is one thing I was going to mention. You said it just a little bit ago. Bucket list events. You did Super Nationals this year. I think, as you said, within the next 2 years, especially if I go and race in 2024, you got to come down and race at Daytona.
I think I got to come down and race at Daytona. I've run the dirt before, as I said, back in 2002. I've covered the race a handful of times down at Kart Week itself. But yeah, I think I want to race the road course and I want to race the sprint track. And Margay Ignite would be perfect for me. I'd love to run the Margay Ignite Masters class and then do it in both road race and sprint. I think that would be a blast. So what do you think, 2024 or 23? Next year or the year after?
Well, I know for sure the Cole family is going down in 2024. There's no doubt about that. That's a given. But right. Because again, we got to. You're getting old. We got to start doing these bucket list events each year.
Hell, bro. Listen,
what's 2023? Let's set the stage right now. What is the bucket list for 2023?
I don't think there is a bucket list for 2023.
So
really,
if you have to do it right away, if you have to do it in 2023, I would advise doing it. So
my only issue is that I'm adding so many races already to the schedule, right? USF Pro Championships and SCUSA this year. So add the Spring Nationals back in. I had to miss that last year. My first time I missed a race. Plus, we got Skitchy Barnes out in Bermuda asking us to come out and run that Bermuda race he's trying to put together in April. I think you're busy that weekend, so I'm probably going to go back to Bermuda. Listen, I lost 20 pounds for the Super Nats. The next 20 is the focus is to get to be at 180 pounds or 170 pounds potentially. Let's say 100. Let's start with 180. I can lose 10. I'll lose 10 more pounds. 180 for that race in Bermuda. That's my next one.
With those broad shoulders, I don't think you're going to do it.
Well, I can lose the weight. I'm still going to have.
I know, but I don't know if you'll be healthy.
I have to have the fat boy seat still. So maybe I just don't know if I'll be able to have the time to be able to go.
Again, it's the end of the year. You'll be so by the time we get to Super Nationals, whenever it is, or October, November, I think you'll be able to decide if you have the 3 days in the holster to be able to do it.
What if I run Super Nats again though? I've been thinking about that. I don't know. We'll see.
It's almost better to be one and done.
I don't know. Do I love it?
You don't want to. Because again, you didn't wreck yourself, but you did get wrecked in a practice. So essentially, I would give it a 98% clean event.
Yep, I agree.
What happens if you go back and you get wrecked every single session? Because now remember this, Rob. This was the inaugural year for that category.
It's going to be a tougher category next year.
It's going to be tougher. Guys are going to get their elbows up even more, a little bit argy-bargy. There's going to be a lot of schmozzles, all that good stuff.
I still want to go back, David. I loved it. I had such a good time.
So all right, listen. Once it hits your lips, right?
It tastes so good when it hits your lips.
It's so good.
All right, folks. First break of the action. When we get back here, we'll continue on. We're going to talk about we're going to talk a little European racing in the next segment. Don't go anywhere.
International, Rob.
International. We're going to get back at it once again on This Week in Karting. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group is an official Kart Republic race team, providing full trackside support at all the major USA karting events, including the SCUSA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, SCUSA Super Nationals 25, and other events throughout the 2022 season. TKG has in stock Kart Republic, IAME, MG and Avinco tires, and more products for those in Ohio and the Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history of the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. For over 20 years, Greg Bell has been building race-winning power for kart racers. One need only look at his team, Leading Edge Motorsports. He's always built engines for his team, and the results have been wins at the biggest races in America, the SCUSA Super Nationals and the Rock Vegas events. The name on this program? Mega Power. This year alone, Bell and Danny Formel teamed up to sweep the Rock Shifter class on the Florida Winter Tour, all on a Mega Power engine. If you want to win shifter kart races, it's time to put Mega Power on your kart. Mega Power specializes in gearbox engines, such as the TMKZ, Rock Shifter, and IAME Shifter, but with almost 3 decades of engine building experience, Bell develops winning motors for X30 and Mini Swift and everything in between. The combination of Greg Bell's engine building skills and his chassis tuning knowledge is a potent mixture. Greg's helped catapult many drivers to wins over the years, including Mercedes F1 star George Russell, who won the Supernats 14 in 2011 with Leading Edge Motorsports. Increase your odds of winning at this year's Rock Vegas or Super National events or throughout 2023 by calling Greg Bell today at 209-747-2613 to put Mega Power in your corner. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and the safety gear you need to get you on the track. Visit shopakr.com for a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure all the latest equipment is available to you, the racer. With over 20 years in business and customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price when you need them. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Make sure to follow Acceleration Kart Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials and new arrivals. Welcome back to episode 55 of This Week in Karting. Rob Howden here, and I'm with somebody like this with this voice. I feel like I have somebody brand new. Like it's not even David Cole because he's got this raspy Barry White thing going on.
Welcome back.
That sounds good, actually. You know what? Now that your voice is like that, you might want to cut a couple of commercial scripts because it sounds like you're somebody else. It's really good.
For ECAN or for other companies?
For ECAN. I think we should do some ECAN ones. That's all me, for God's sake.
I didn't know if there was like, a specific brand you were trying to get me to do.
No. So here's one. We're going to talk about some international news. Obviously, the reigning FIA world champion, karting world champion, Mateus Morgado, who I picked to win the Supernats. He didn't show up for me, which is horrible. Big news, man. He's moving to the Burrell Art product line with Lennox Racing, David, for next year. And not only is he going to run the OK events, he's also going to run KZ2. He's going to jump in the shifter kart category as well. And then we'll touch on what he's going to do over here in North America. Yeah,
that's the crazy part. Again, he was running Alonso kart all year long in international competition, won the World Karting Championship, again, a brand produced by Kart Republic. And then went to Vegas, ran the OTK stuff with Ariel Castro, who, again, was his longtime team owner and worked with him ever since he was in cadets, I think, back in the day. And now going to the Burrell Art brand. So that it's a unique story to see kind of the transition. But again, he's got that world championship under his belt. So they want to take, Lennox Racing Team, amazing organization. Again, Jordan Lennox, a former Superkarts USA's Pro Tour champion and Super Nationals winner. So a good combination there. He did kind of leave you hanging at the Super Nash, but the strange thing is to see him going to KZ2. We've seen a lot of that now with the elder drivers, again, younger 20s. We call them the elder drivers in the senior category,
Right.
moving to that KZ2 or even KZ category, because has become basically 14 and 13-year-olds. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just essentially what it is. And also it helps with branding. They want to get great, strong and competent drivers in the shifter kart programs. And so that'll be cool to see him make that transition, and to see how quickly he adapts to it. He's going to certainly have a lot of different drivers to take feedback in and learn from that. But again, a good driver like this, I don't think it's going to take long to see him at the front in KZ2.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, over here in the U.S., he's going to be running with PSL Karting. Of course, they're the North American importer and distributor for the Burrell Art brand. So Morgado, when he comes over here, will run PSL Karting. And listen, if you talk about the KZ and the shifter kart program, David, the Red Army, the Burrell Art drivers, man, were they ever strong at the Supernats this year?
Yeah, and the press release that just came out today was saying he's going to run single speed stuff here in the USA. Okay. So that's going to be his focus on that, because they also have re-signed Martin Kremers, the 2019 world champion in KZ competition, to PSL for 2023 season. So he'll be double dipping again, racing shifter kart and single speed stuff as well. So I'm sure there's going to be some testing involved with Kremers and Morgato. So those would be great sessions to sit in and kind of watch and see how that transpires. But again, good correlation. I think they're good friends off the racetrack as well. So that'll be cool to see. I think Morgado actually ran Burrell Art for a while there before, I want to say in the 2020 season, maybe even 2021.
Okay. So obviously talking about what he's going to be doing over in the FIA events, the FIA Karting actually releasing its 2023 calendar. David, walk us through what we're going to see out of the FIA next year.
Yeah, just some notes on what to expect for the upcoming season. One of the bigger news was moving the Academy Trophy into the same weekends as the OK and OK Junior events for the year and on the European side of the competition. So the Academy Trophy ran with the KZ and KZ2 categories throughout the European Championship program. So those have 3 events, the Academy Trophy does. And so now they're going to run with OK and OK Junior, which that'll essentially take drivers trying to do both, because that's something we've kind of seen, where a driver that's part of the Academy Trophy will also race in OK Junior European competitions. So that'll take that kind of advantage, or that kind of flaw in the system, to where, again, the Academy Trophy is trying to get inexperienced, not necessarily inexperienced, but drivers who are not factory drivers or have the funding to be able to do European or World Championship events. So I wouldn't be just surprised to see the Academy Trophy move to that OKN program, really, to be honest. That'll be interesting to see how that works. So that could be something down the line, after they get the initial introduction of that program across the world. So keep watching for that. They've also introduced a new team championship title. So teams will be able to score points at the European or World Championships in OK Junior, and KZ, along with the European and World Cup event for KZ2. So those 4 categories are going to be allowing teams to score championship points towards this new team title, which will be something interesting. But another thing to kind of keep an eye on, and something we talked about when the FIA kind of announced that they were going to try and start doing this more, is a digital karting license established. So stewards will award penalty points to drivers in breach of sporting code, and so that'll keep record. Again, they're going to keep a record now, essentially, of drivers getting penalty at European and World Championship events. After 12 penalty points, a driver is to be suspended for 1 event. So points will automatically be erased 12 months after application. So it'll be an interesting thing to kind of follow how this works. I got to assume pushback bumper is not going to be part of that, but they do say, a breach of sporting code. So it's kind of, we'll have to kind of review and oversee kind of how that unfolds, especially early on in the season, and how they keep track of it. If there's going to be a place where people can go and see who has penalty points and who doesn't,
right?
That could be, again, we're into the digital age. I'm shocked it took this long to be able to do that, but at least the FIA is moving forward with that.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see what kind of accountability and visibility we have there. Last little bit of news from the FIA. They did make an adjustment on the OK category, the weight-wise. They moved it up 5 kilograms, which is just a little bit over 10 pounds, to 150 kilograms or 330 pounds, David, now the weight for the OK category.
Yeah, it's shocking to see, again, the weight so low. But then when you look at the OK drivers,
you mentioned it. Yes,
13 to 14-year-olds.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Where guys here in the K are bitching about 360 pounds being too low. And it's just like, really?
Yeah, exactly that.
So, that's interesting to see. I'm wondering why they upped it, because, again, but maybe they're actually keeping track of numbers. That would be a great thing to do. And I wish more programs here in the United States would do that.
All right, folks, another break. And when we get back, we'll wrap things up. We'll give you a little look at what we've had on EKN, the editorial, the last couple of days. We'll talk about the podcast that they're out, what we've been playing on the EKN radio network, and we'll look at what's coming up on ekartingnews.com. It all started in 1994 when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years, and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and a Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the junior, senior, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for the 2023 season include the Ignite Majors, which begins with the annual trip to the Daytona International Speedway as part of the WKA Daytona Kart Week as part of both the sprint and road racing events. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regionally based Ignite Challenge, which just finished up a record-setting season in 2022. Local club programs have also been established in other states all across the country, from Idaho to Texas, Nebraska to New York, with more tracks and clubs joining the Ignite Karting program. Be part of fast fun and great memories with Margay Racing at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite Kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and out onto the track in 2023. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. You can buy all the latest and greatest products on the market, but when you're karting to win, it boils down to one thing: you, the driver. Gain the knowledge and abilities by investing in yourself at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, and you'll find those extra tenths of a second you need to put yourself on the podium. The school was established by Superkarts USA Hall of Fame driver Alan Rudolph, with decades of victories and championships in multiple forms of the sport, including other disciplines of racing. The Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, located at the Speed Sports Racing Park in the metropolitan Houston area, is designed to teach driving skills at all levels. The instructors of the Academy have decades of racing experience and educating drivers of all ages. Classes at the Academy will teach the concepts and skills needed both behind the wheel and off the track. From the beginning kart racing experience and intro to karting courses, to their advanced 1-day and 2-day courses and karting clinics, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can improve the skills of any driver. For more information on the specific programs that the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can provide for you, head to speedsports.com and click on the Racing Academy page. Be sure to follow the Academy on social media by searching for Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Welcome back to episode 55 of This Week in Karting here on the EKN Radio Network or on our podcast program. Rob Howden and David Cole providing all the information that's worked its way to the EKN homepage over the last week. David, let's talk a little bit about some of the editorial that we put up on the website. Most of it, of course, focused on the Super Nationals. I dropped a couple more of my parts for my Drive to 25 Super Nationals Journey, that article series, essentially giving a 2-part race report of kind of what happened for me from Tuesday through to Super Sunday.
Yeah, it was a great kind of breakdown of what it is, what you did over the competition of the Superkarts USA Super Nationals 25. It was a good read. I'm looking forward though to reading a final couple of clips. You said you're going to get more in depth with the Rudolph track day, and that's the one I was telling Nate last show how that's the one I kind of want to read. I want to hear exactly what goes on because you haven't even told me.
We really haven't had a chance to talk about it.
So I'm excited to hear more about that one.
I'm also going to write one on the Rawlson Performance Group. Obviously, working with Rawlson Performance Group because really one of the reasons why obviously the first thing we did when we decided I was going to do this was, hey, where are you going to run? Who are you going to run with? And I was like, listen, obviously one of the big topics is the success that Rawlson Performance Group has had over the last number of years, right? A lot of BS, that gets spouted around. So I'm like, I want to go inside. So that's going to be a really cool article because I'm telling you, there's the procedures, the way they leverage their personnel. It's going to be a good read. Rawlson Performance Group really impressed me, and I think I kind of wrote a little bit about that in the article. It's getting a chance to work with Ben Cooper and Jace Denmark. That they have certain coaches that work with certain groups. I actually sat in and watched one of the debriefs with both Cedric Lupian and Ryan Norberg working with the junior team, and it's pretty harsh, man. They get right at it. They don't pull any punches. It was really interesting, and that'll be something that's going to be coming up. Obviously, in our EKN podcast, the podcast we've been putting out there that are available. Last week's This Week in Karting now is available. If you're listening to this as a podcast or on the EKN Radio Network, this will be here as well. But we've got more stuff coming in terms of the podcast shows, David. We got a new face-to-face coming potentially. I think next Monday we're going to try to sit down with Keith Freber from Margay Racing. Perfect opportunity to kind of review the 2022 season and talk a bit about Daytona and a bit about what they're planning for next year as well.
Yeah, it's always great to talk to Keith. It's been a while since we had him on face to face.
Exactly.
And again, as you said, I'm really excited to hear. We just shared the entry list for the Ignite programs there that Daytona. So full fields in both senior and masters. So excited to see that and get more details from him on that.
So David Cole, of course, managing our EKN Radio Network, our 24/7 downloadable app to your mobile device, or you can always go to ekartingnews.com/radio, a link right on the website itself. It's really the only karting radio station in the world, 24/7, knocking out all of our content. Coming up, of course, we got all this episode of This Week in Karting will be on there. You could be listening to it right now. We'll have our face-to-face shows, even though we do them on YouTube and Facebook. We also turn that into a podcast that gets played on the radio network. All of our This Week in Kartings are there as well. We got some more content that's coming. And David, you've been dropping some stuff. Obviously, we're looking into 2023, right? And the first events that we're going to be heading to when the new year starts is the Superkarts USA Winter Series. And of course, the Challenge of the Americas on the West Coast. Yeah, I know we'd love to run our rewind program where you put the old coverage on there as well.
Yeah, we love to share the old live broadcasts that we've had in the past. And as you said, we're coming up on 2023. But before we do that, we also played the WK. So Daytona Kart Week. So last time we were there, it was in 2018. So that was fun to replay that. So we'll keep kind of doing that over the next couple of weeks again until we get into January and have a full slate of new shows and new content and a lot more, including, our outlaps and debriefs as well.
Indeed. So here's what's coming up, folks, on EKN. We're, of course, on a bit of a break here right now, essentially a month until we get to the next event. And that'll be, again, just about a month's time from now. We'll be right back at it trackside at the SuperKarts USA Winter Series as they get rolling on the January 13th, 14th, 15th weekend. Back at AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex in Homestead, Florida. We'll see how things play out after what was a massive event at the Super Nationals. Of course, everybody wonder, what are we going to see for potentially Pro Shifter, Master Shifter? There's a big surge in drivers running in the shifter kart categories right now, so we may see more guys than that. I'm hoping for that as well. I'm going to see if I can't wheel and deal myself into a KA, David, on Friday. Maybe a little test day now that I've been doing some KA racing. Because, man, I had so much fun driving that. So I think I'm going to try to see if I can't wheel a test. Nate Dean's going to be coming down with me to that event, so he'll be handling the coverage. While I expect I'll be on with the Kart Chaser guys for coverage there. And then, David, we get to go back to one of our favorite series. You and I, again, February 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we head to Musselman Honda Circuit, one of the best pure racetracks in the sport in Tucson, Arizona. Challenge of the Americas kicking off in the first week of February.
Yeah, I've been working with Andy Saisman and Sean Beer on getting things dialed in for that. We'll actually have an announcement regarding registration being open soon. They're working on host hotels. I know that's a little bit of an ordeal right now with Tucson and I believe it's the Gem Show that we're dealing with. Yeah. So a lot going on there, but so registration should be opening up for that. So make sure you watch eKarting News for more information on that, and we'll have full press release and information to give you.
We'll be starting the EKN Trackside Tour for 2023. I think we need to get another tour T-shirt set up, because what do we got going on? Obviously, SCUSA Winter Series, SCUSA Pro Tour, and the Super Nats, USPKS, United States Pro Kart Series, covering that as well. We'll do some events like the Rock Island Grand Prix. I'm going to Bermuda to cover that event. Nate Dean's very likely going to be covering full coverage of the Route 66 Sprint Series. I think we're also going to be potentially doing more CKNA races. We'll be at the CKNA Grand Nationals, another, obviously, a new partnership we're excited about, David, for this year with Race Rotax and the U.S. Trophy Final. We'll be back there again in September. So it's going to be a big tour for eKarting News again this year, in 2023, rather, of lots of trackside coverage.
Yeah, Pat's Acres Racing Complex in July with the Challenge in America's crew, and Rock Island Grand Prix. I believe you said that already, but Rotax, Cup Karts, USPKS Route, SCUSA, CODA, and a lot more coming your way in 2023.
That's it, man. There's a ton happening, folks. Hey, thanks you so much, folks, for turning in to this edition of This Week in Karting. Again, doing our best to try to knock this thing out once a week so we can have that consistency, give you something to listen to on your drive into work, or maybe coming home, back home after a day at the office. We do appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much, folks. Lots to come. We got lots more stuff ready to roll on EKN, whether it be content. We got a lot of articles, actually, a ton of articles actually coming out, original content articles. We've got more face-to-face shows coming. We got a roundtable coming up in a little bit as well. Lots of stuff here on the EKN Radio Network, too. Again, thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. On behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.